Welcome to the Portland Beer Podcast from Portland Culinary Radio. I'm Stephen Shomler, your host. Today we are talking Bailey's, the story of Bailey's Craft Beer Bar. Joining me is Geoff Phillips. Good morning, Geoff.
Good morning.
Nick Rivers.
Good morning.
And Bill Murnighan.
Morning.
So you guys are part of the team that make the magic happen there. Geoff, you're the actual founder of Bailey's. Okay, so before we get started, what is Bailey's?
It's a beer bar in downtown Portland.
And what did the website first say?
When we launched the website, the title was Bailey's Taproom, a beer bar in Portland, Oregon.
So if this was a game show, I would go and make a horrible noise because that is the wrong answer. Here's what I think Bailey's. I think it's one of Portland's most iconic beer bars. I don't say that lightly. There's a lot of really cool beer bars in Portland. But so what year did Bailey's open?
2007.
2007. And what were the craft beer bars, the other craft beer bars that were open at the time?
We had the Horse Press, Concordia Ale House. Belmont Station just moved into their new location from right next to Horse Press, and I don't think they had all their taps running yet. But yeah.
And Green Dragon.
Green Dragon opened about a month after us.
And they're gone now.
And
Rose and Raindrop was also a small establishment.
And they're sadly gone now.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Although some of their equipment you can find over at
Belmont Station.
Well, and also the back for their back pad is at the cider guy, Abe got some of their stuff.
Cider Riot, yeah.
Cool. He loves Abe, loved them very much. Okay, so you guys are like a pioneer. That's why I say you're one of Portland's most iconic beer bars, is because there wasn't that many at the time. I mean, now you got places like Tin Bucket and Roscoe's and Cerveza and Beermongers and Imperial and NWIPA, but at the time those places didn't exist.
That's correct.
So,
yeah,
iconic, a pioneer in the Portland craft beer bar community. I know you guys may be uncomfortable with that, but that's how I would define it.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
If you're going to come to Portland, I love asking beer writers, if someone's going to come to Portland, what are the breweries, the breweries they have to go to? You know, there's always the same top three, and then they kind of just divergent for the rest. But when I say, what are some of the top craft beer bars people need to go to, Bailey's is always in that top three.
Thank you.
So Bailey's opened 2010. Geoff, you moved 2010, excuse me. You moved to Portland to open it.
Yes.
You moved to Portland to open a craft beer bar.
That's correct.
Okay, I want to hear that story and how the heck that came about. But first, where were you born?
I was born in Oxnard, California.
Okay, I spent many summers in Oxnard. My grandma used to live there. Where did you go to high school?
Oxnard High.
Okay, what was the mascot?
Yellow Jackets.
Yellow Jackets. And
Yeah.
where did you go after high school?
I moved up to Santa Barbara, went to Santa Barbara City College. It's actually where I met Nick. We were working at the Cabrillo Inn in Santa Barbara and doing 5 years of community college.
So as a 12-year-old, I had the joy of going to many parties in IV in Isla Vista.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure you have been to many parties in Isla Vista.
Sort of.
My great aunt was in charge of housing at UCSB, so I'd spent some summers with her in Goleta, 2 blocks from the beach, and a cousin who was 10 years older. So she's 22, I'm 12, parties that I had no business being at.
Definitely.
Right, yeah.
Okay, so Nick, you've been part of the Bailey story from the beginning, actually.
Right.
Where were you born?
I was born in Tucson, Arizona.
Oh, that's too bad.
Well, I know, but that's over.
And where'd you go to high school?
Well, when I was in Tucson, I went to high school at Santa Rita High. I moved to California when I was about 16 and went to St. Bonaventure in Ventura. Not too far from where Geoff was living and going to high school as well. We didn't know each other at the time, though.
And what was the mascot at St. Bonaventure?
Oh, the Seraphs.
The Seraphs, so like an angel seraph.
It's a Catholic high school, yes.
Catholic high school, all right.
Fond memories.
And so did you ever go see movies at the Ventura Mall there?
Yep. Yeah, definitely.
I did too. My grandma would take me to the movies.
Yeah.
That's kind of weird. That's weird to think about.
It's a very strange, You'll find a lot of that in the craft beer community, I think, in Portland.
So where did you first meet? He said, he kind of gave the sanitized version of the story, but where did you actually meet Geoff? Tell me that story.
So I met Geoff through a mutual friend of ours who kind of brought us up to Santa Barbara to work at the Cabrillo Inn at the beach, the hotel there. So we were crazy kids. We were night managers. We were responsible for everything going on there. I moved into the living room there, basically. I don't know if Geoff was excited about that. He didn't know that I was going to be moving in and working there. But yeah, we were roommates for a while. And when Geoff left, I got his room. That was great.
So you were happy for him to take off?
A little bit,
So you come out one morning and some guys asleep on the couch.
Pretty much, yeah.
Jeff was the morning guy at the hotel. I was the night guy, so there was that dichotomy there.
That is funny. All right, and so that's where you guys met. Then you became friends and stayed friends ever since.
Sure, yeah.
Okay, and what year did you move to Portland?
I moved up with my girlfriend, my wife now, in 2004. We were just kind of trying to get away from California. We fell in love with the Pacific Northwest. I did not move here for craft beer originally. That was something that I got into later. But yeah, I was up here for about 2 years, I think, before Jeff and I started, talking about him moving up.
And where'd you move from?
From Santa Barbara, California.
Santa Barbara?
Yep.
Okay. Our friend Brian Eggers just ran off to there.
He just went back, yeah.
Yep.
A lot of Santa Barbara connections.
Yep. So, Jeff, when you leave Santa Barbara City College, where do you head to next?
I got a job at the city of Ventura, and then I was doing night school at Cal State Northridge to finish up my degree in city planning. Once I finished my degree, got a job down in Carlsbad, California, and moved to Encinitas, and 2 blocks from the beach, and really started getting into the San Diego beer scene down there.
Yeah, I grew up outside of Lake Elsinore, so we would go to San Diego often. My dad thought it was a good idea to take us kids to Black's Beach.
Nice.
Traumatizing experience.
Yeah,
but you never look at old people the same way again.
No, I paraglided in Black's Beach. So.
Okay, so you know.
Yeah.
So what year did you move to San Diego?
03.
03. And craft beer scene was still happening then. Even back then, there was still a craft beer scene down there.
Definitely. But it was still up and coming at that point. I mean, yeah, Stone had been around, and I had AleSmith. I mean, yeah, there was definitely a craft beer scene for sure.
So you're a city planner by day and a beer drinker by night?
Yep.
So where did your beer journey begin?
I have fond memories of my dad, my sister, and I having a Samuel Smith oatmeal stout in Truckee, California. I was 15 years old.
Wow.
Oh.
And did you like it?
Oh, yeah. Loved it. And then, in high school, I got a job at a small deli that sold craft beer and other things. But, somehow some of the craft beer made it into my possession.
Some magical way.
Yeah,
no one really understands how.
No.
And then you had to drink it.
I had to drink it. And, Sierra Nevada Pale Ale and those things were, top choice.
Okay, so you go to school, a lot of school, become a city planner, a lot of education. You finally become a city planner in San Diego, which is a pretty cool city.
Yep.
In 2003. What year did you move to Portland?
06, end of 06.
So, and you moved to Portland to open a craft beer bar.
That's correct.
Not a beer bar, but a craft beer bar.
That's right.
What the heck happened in those 3 years to cause that switch? Is city planning really that bad, or you love craft beer that much?
Yeah, I mean, my particular job was that bad. Yeah, I was not at. It was. I still enjoy city planning and the concept behind it, but pushing papers around and permitting processing and that kind of stuff isn't fun. If I could plan a city, that would be exciting, but that's not how it works. So it was either find another job or go back to school, get a master's degree, or open up a beer bar. And I was unmarried, no children, so I decided to take the risk. I could always fall back on my degree.
Why a beer bar? Why a craft beer bar? That seems so random from city planning.
I enjoyed I enjoyed drinking at bars, and was disappointed that they didn't rotate their lists, and I thought, why not? Why don't they do that? And
so you'd go to some of your favorite bars in San Diego, and you could imagine something better and something different.
Yes, yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, that dissatisfaction is often what leads to some of those really cool things.
Yeah.
Like Bailey's. So how did you first start? Just Google how to open a beer bar?
Pretty much, yeah.
Are you kidding, or you really did that?
Oh, yeah. During my city planning job, I did I had 8 hours of computer access.
So it worked just on breaks, a little bit of research online.
It was 5 minutes tops every day.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Was there actual articles about how to open a craft beer bar?
Yeah. There was a well, not necessarily a beer bar, but bars in general. And I mean, you can kind of piecemeal things together. Because a beer bar was kind of unique still at the time.
Yeah, you're just driving me nuts right now. I want to just go by howtoopenacraftbeerbar.com, given my dysfunction.
Right.
But
Yeah.
So you had an idea that you wanted to do it. Why did you choose Portland?
It was a long journey. I was definitely looking in the San Diego area, and then started looking in the Bay Area, and actively started looking in the Bay Area. And city planning, studying that. Portland has a really cool mixed-use development, and is definitely in the textbooks during college, and also has a beer scene. And so I came up a few times and kind of researched the area, and was excited about Portland.
So then you stayed with Nick when you first got here?
That's correct.
And because you figured, hey, you took my living room back in college, and now I'm returning the favor.
Yeah, I guess so, yeah.
We did a lot of research.
Yeah.
A lot of research.
So what did you think when an old friend from college called you, hey, I'm moving to Portland, and I'm taking over your couch, and I'm going to open a craft beer bar?
I was like, cool, let's go drink.
So when he said craft beer bar, what did you visualize?
Oh, yeah. I was not familiar with craft beer to the extent I am now. So to me, I was like, oh, cool, he's opening a bar. There's going to be, there'll be some Newcastle, Sierra Nevada Pale, probably have some lottery machines. How are we going to do this? This is going to be awesome. I didn't understand the vision fully.
But you get here and
originally.
you choose to start going out to places and checking out what it would be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely introduced them to the few beer bars that were in existence here,
Right.
and he introduced me some of the dive bars that existed.
It was a great experience.
Any good dive bars you took into that are still around?
Not that are around anymore. I mean, for example, Slabtown is gone.
Yep.
Even the Bitter End is gone. That was
You didn't take them to reel them in?
I didn't go to Reel 'em In.
Oh, man.
No, on the west side, it was places like the Marathon or Tony's or again,
Yam Hill.
Bitter End, Yam Hill Pub. Yeah. So and those are awesome
Shanghai
spots.
Tunnel.
Shanghai
Yeah.
Tunnels. Yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of time spent there. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, researching, right?
Research, a lot of research.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's amazing what you can get done at 2:30 in the morning.
Yeah. Exactly.
So how did you come across that space where Bailey's is today?
It's sat vacant for a really long time. So the times that I came up to research, it was available. I thought it was really cool, and kind of inquired on it and didn't get any feedback, and kind of forgot about it. And then when I moved up here, it was still available, and
So back then, what did commercial realtors say when you said, I want to open a craft beer bar?
they thought I was crazy. Yeah, zero idea of what that meant. I mean, the best, I was just, it's like a wine bar, but
But it's got craft beer.
Yeah, and nobody thinks people drink beer that way. So, it was a tough sell.
So you understand why I call you a pioneer in the Portland. Because now I suspect, what do commercial real estate agents do in relationship to you?
They contact me and wonder if I want to open up another location somewhere. They have this cool piece of property that they think a beer bar would do really well there, and blah, blah, blah.
So they used to shun you, and now they seek you out.
That's correct.
Yes, I've had those experiences professionally, and that's always fulfilling. It's like, yeah, you used to look down on me. Now, yeah.
No, it's like people wanting to lend money, and I couldn't find anybody that would want to lend me money, but now people would.
Now they would, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, thanks. Yeah, now I really... Okay, so where'd the name Bailey's come from?
It's my middle name, mother's maiden name.
That's boring.
It is boring.
I know. We got to come up with better... What are some of the myths and legends out there?
Oh, that's Jeff's dog's name. It was part of his name when he was the mayor of San Diego, and just gave it all up to come to Portland and start a bar. There's all kinds of stuff that's out there.
Yeah, he had a different identity when he was the mayor of San Diego.
Exactly. Yeah, he came from like immense wealth and just gave all that up. Moved to Oregon to open a beer bar, pick apples, that kind of stuff. It's true. Like, you overhear these conversations all the time. It's hilarious.
So, Bill, I think I have a plan for you. I think you should come up with 9 different myths about the name Bailey's, and teach each different bartender a different myth.
Oh, I like that. Yeah.
That sounds like, and then you can get a totally different answer depending on which bartender.
We'll see. We'll see it all come up in the Yelp reviews. Yeah.
Oh, there you go. I got told the wrong story. I got told a different story of a different bartender, and that would be hilarious. So, who was the beer buyer when you first opened?
That was me.
That was you.
I was the bartender. I was the the beer buyer. I was everything.
So maybe, Bill, he was the OG rock star beer buyer.
That's correct. Yeah, he taught me a lot.
So how hard was it to get craft beer? What was your experience like being a beer back then?
Yeah, I mean, obviously I had zero connections really at that time, and most everybody still, was going through distributors. Self-distribution wasn't that big of a thing. There were definitely people that were doing it. So, I don't know.
So you would, there wasn't that many distributors, and so did you then seek out other like breweries that were self-distributing?
Yeah, it didn't take me long. Block 15 opened up, and that was a good example of I need to get their beer. So yeah, drive down to Block 15 and met Nick, and he was excited to throw half barrels in my car, and and we've had a great relationship since.
Okay, and how many taps did you start with?
20.
And then how many have now?
26.
26. Now, Nick, you've been around, technically, you full-time at Bailey's for a couple of years now, 2, 3, 4 years.
Right.
But you've been around from the beginning. There's photos of you at the build-out.
Yeah, correct. So, Geoff and I were living together for a short time, and then when he started to open the bar, we both kind of shared a love for technology, cutting-edge technology. So, at the time, I was doing IT consulting. So Geoff asked if I would help kind of do everything from help build the website to get the audio system going, to get internet access happening, free Wi-Fi. I still have some of those duties, even though they might be a thorn in my side at this point. But yeah.
And now you're the operations manager.
Correct. Yeah. Day-to-day operations, event planning, social media, communications.
I think your primary job is to keep an eye on Bill. I think that's really what it is.
I think we keep each other in check. Yeah.
So you come up on your 10-year anniversary. So what's that feel like, Geoff?
It feels great. It's hard to believe.
Okay. And when did Upper Lip open?
4 years ago.
Okay, so 2013?
Yeah.
Is my math right? I've already had a lot of beer this morning.
Yeah,
so.
we took over the space in early 2013, and then it kind of developed over the course of that year. And but by the end of 2013, it was, definitely a bar that you could come up to.
So a little bit of myth and mystique around Upper Lip, because people kind of walk by the door, don't even know it's there. Some people know they go in the door and just go upstairs. Other people are like, where did they just go? But it's a really cool craft beer bar up there. I did a Portland Beer podcast up with Bill, and we talked about the kind of beer that he buys up there, and you can get that story there and Bill's whole story, what brought him to Portland and his whole journey. But where the heck did the name Upper Lip come from?
That's one of our bartenders, Lukey. He came up with it. It was the old 24-hour Church of Elvis, and we were trying to think of a name that kind of subtly referenced Elvis, and a lot of brainstorming, and Lukey is not a huge fan of that name, but it kind of stuck, and it wasn't that big of a deal because it was going to be a speakeasy, and that name was just kind of going to be a reference point for us, but it's kind of taken off, and that's what it's known as now.
I like that, the Upper Lip. So it's a subtle reference to Elvis.
Right.
And only in Portland would you have the 24-hour Church of Elvis.
Right, that's right.
Okay, so what does it take to be a bartender at the iconic Bailey's or even Upper Lip?
When I was doing my initial hiring for the first 5 or so bartenders, I was still bartending at the time, so all of them were regulars of the bar. So they showed a passion. They loved the space, and they spent many days at Bailey's Taproom, and
a lot of money. You took their money.
I took their money. Well, and so that's the downside of hiring them, because now they take my beer. So,
No, you get to get a good feeling for who they are, and obviously they care a lot about the space. So when they come in, they're going to continue that passion for Bailey's Taproom.
How about you, Nick? What do you look for in a bartender at Bailey's? Because you guys all three of you have a hand in who gets hired as bartenders.
Sure. I think a passion for beer, a personality, being able to work with a customer and help guide them if they don't necessarily know what they want, or if they do know what they want, they actually want to talk shop, basically. And then after that, all of the other things that you would expect from an employee, reliability, dependability, that kind of stuff.
Have to show up.
Showing up is half the battle at Bailey's.
All right, how about you, Bill? What do you look for in a bartender when you guys are gonna hire someone? Because you don't have a lot of turnover. Who was the first bartender, Geoff?
Michael.
And he's still around.
That's
Still
correct.
here?
Yeah.
Well, that either means you have a really healthy corporate culture or a really sick corporate culture. One of the two.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
You can't leave. It's contractual now.
yeah, exactly. It's like Hotel California. Once you check in, you never
exactly.
check out. Okay, so what do you look for in a bartender?
I think we kind of hit on a lot of the main points. I think a passion for beer is number one. I don't necessarily think people need to have had craft beer experience. I think if you just worked at a high volume, high capacity outlet, whatever it was, I came from Starbucks previously, and I feel like that really helped.
You worked at a busy Starbucks.
Yep, and it really helped me saw down that line and help with fast service. That's really important at Bailey's. People are always amazed that we can get through so many customers in a busy setting.
Yep,
So
that's good. Okay, so 10-year anniversary, Geoff. You guys are going to have a big celebration. It must be pretty fulfilling to see, wow, this has kind of come together.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
And I know when I say things like it's one of Portland's most iconic craft beer bars, it kind of feels awkward to you. You're not comfortable with that kind of praise, but it's true.
Thank you. Yeah, I really appreciate that.
I wish we had videos so people could see you squirming. It's hilarious. Has he always been this way, Nick? He doesn't want to be praised for cool stuff?
Yeah, always. Right. That's why when people will constantly ask me if I'm the owner of the bar, because Geoff's usually there very quiet and not super out there.
That's just because you're the guy standing on drinking, not working. That's why they ask that.
Probably. That's probably.
I'm just kidding. That's one of the rumors. Nick owns the bar and doesn't do anything. He just drinks.
Yeah, oh, and the website. Yeah.
He drinks and does the website. Okay, so what's going to happen for your 10-year anniversary? Because you do a big party every year for your anniversary. The 10 year is pretty special, so talk to us about that.
Sure. Yeah. So since 2008, every year Bailey's Taproom has done a barrel-aged beer fest. So this year is no exception. We will be kind of shutting down the street adjacent to Bailey's. We'll be connecting the Upper Lip and Bailey's Taproom by doing that. There'll be a VIP package, which should be on sale soon. There'll be a VIP session up at the Upper Lip for a few hours. That'll be really awesome. We'll have music, games. We'll have some taps outside, and Brewed Oregon will also have a table there. It's basically a block party.
And then we'll also be debuting 13 of our collaborations, or Bailey's 10-year collaborations, 11 of which are barrel-aged that were made just for this event.
So you partner with breweries across the Northwest to have beer specially made for this event?
Yeah, I believe they're all Oregon breweries. Yeah, all 13.
So you remember some of them?
Yeah, we got guys like Ale Song, Culmination,
Yeah.
Upright, who actually collaborated with a winery for that one collaboration. There's so many. Flat Tail, Breakside. Yahats, yeah. Heater Allen and Block 15 did our non-barrel aged beers that we're going to have as kind of a palate cleanser and pint option at the Barrel Aged Beer Festival.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
It's going to be great, yeah.
So when we did your podcast, so we talked about one of the things that makes a craft beer bar interesting is really good beer and then events.
Correct.
I think special events create buzz, and you guys do every year some annual events at Bailey's.
That's right.
So talk me through those events.
Yeah, we do the Cellar Fest in January.
And so what happens there?
That's where we dig through the cellar, which is a just old beer. I mean, we just go through beer that's been slowly aging and kind of just checking up on how it's tasting. sucking at Storm.
No, so some people think, oh, it's just old leftover beer, and that's not the
some
case at all.
beer
It's-
really develops.
It's special, amazing beer that you've put aside, and then you may put it on tap just for that event, and then save it again for next year.
Correct. Yeah.
And so it's kind of like the highlights, the specials. This is really cool stuff we had, and
Yeah,
we saved
it's like some of these big boozy beers. They kind of get better as they mellow out over time. So some of the maltier nuances show themselves. So it's kind of cool to check up on those beers. And then in the spring we do German Fest. That's where we ask Oregon breweries to brew German style beer. Then we do our barrel aged beer festival in the middle of the summer for our anniversary. Then in November we do Belgian Fest, which is kind of like German Fest, in which we ask all Oregon breweries to brew Belgian style beer, kind of a love letter to Belgian breweries.
And then you do Killer Beer Fest.
Yeah, we do Killer Beer Fest with Brew Public. They kind of co-curate that list. And then with New School every year, we do the New Oregon Brewery Showcase for PDX Beer Week.
Yeah, and I love that event. That is a fun event.
It's one of our popular.
You get to showcase brand new breweries.
Correct.
And then they get the coolness of having beer on tap at Bailey's.
Exactly. Yeah, it's 2 beers from all the new breweries in Oregon.
That's good. I like that you do events. I think events create buzz, and it's a smart thing. It's a lot of fun for us to attend, but people don't realize how much work it is.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. We're finding that this year, with just having committed to doing kind of a bigger event every single month for our 10-year anniversary throughout the year, we're definitely working a lot.
How often do you have a beer at Bailey's, Geoff?
Currently, not very often. I just opened up a brewery, so
I was hoping we could lead into that. Yeah, so I would. I think it would be good to have you guys back and do a Portland Beer Podcast episode about Level Beer.
Sure.
So you've got another endeavor going.
That's correct.
Did you ever think that when you moved to Portland, you'd be part of a brewery?
No. I always said I was never going to brew beer, and I'm still not going to brew beer. But definitely never thought I was going to open up a brewery.
Yeah, I had the same experience. When I moved to Portland, I never thought I'd be part of a brewery at all. I never thought I'd be part of the beer scene, but it's a blast and really enjoyable.
Yeah.
So you just need to get comfortable with your celebrity because you're the Geoff Phillips, right? I mean, Nick is all. Every time I want to take his picture, he's, oh yes, please take my picture. He loves it.
Yeah, definitely.
I definitely have to work on it now that I'm going to be out selling product. Bailey's, sold itself for a while, and now that I have a product to sell, it's I definitely got to get more comfortable with that.
So why should someone go have a beer at Bailey's? I have my answer, but you guys will struggle with yours, and then I'll give a good one. So,
sure, I'll take your words. I mean, it's a pioneering beer bar. I think if you're going to want to experience an eclectic list of beers and experience the what Northwest has to offer in the beer scene, it's a perfect place for that. I think. The high rate of turnover with the beers, we're able to keep the list fresh. I mean, there's 7 new beers every day, 8 new beers every day. So, I mean, you can come in, if you're visiting for a week, you can come each night and the list would be completely different by the time you leave.
What's your answer, Nick?
Yeah, I don't have much more to add to that. That's perfect. It's definitely, I think when Bailey's was first opened, correct me if I'm wrong, Geoff wanted to have an establishment where people could actually have a conversation. That's why you're not going to see TVs with sports on. There's nothing wrong with sports, but
it's a different experience at Bailey's.
Yeah, you want to facilitate conversation, and just like an environment where people can actually have fun and experience craft beer.
Yeah, I want to speak actually to the space, because that's one of the things that blew me away early on, was just how unique of a setting it was to drink craft beer. I mean, typically we were going to places that were dive bars where there's no windows, there's no natural light, there's neon everywhere. For Bailey's, it was almost like you're in a cafe setting, natural light. I mean, you could see the rain and really feel like you're in the Pacific Northwest. That was really what took me by storm. And it's a very neutral space, so you can kind of, depending on who you're with, kind of create your own experience.
Yeah, and the cool thing I like is that you've kept up with the times. Things have changed. You've seen a lot of change, Geoff, since 2007 in the beer scene.
Sure.
A lot of change, and you guys have kept up with it. and not everybody keeps up with changing and with times. And so that's the cool thing is, yes, it's pioneering, yes, it's iconic, but if you want to know what's happening right now in the Portland, in the Oregon, in the Northwest beer scene, Bailey's will keep you in the loop.
I hope so. Yeah.
Oh, come on. You've got a rock star beer buyer. Of course it will. Right? Is that not correct? Am I wrong, Bill? No.
That's what's been said. Yeah.
How many beers a week do you taste? New beers. New people stopping by giving you new beers.
Man, probably in a week, new beers, besides what I'm buying, probably about 30 to 50.
That's why you keep people up. I mean, come on. And then from those, he picks the best.
Staying sober is the key. That's the
Staying sober is the key.
That's the hard part of the job, trying that many beers. That's why we drink so many Pilsners and lagers around the bar.
Yeah, that's right, because I've had plenty of the other today.
Exactly.
All right, Nick, how fun has it been for you to see this emerge, this develop from Geoff shows up and demands your couch, and to now 10 years later, you're part of the team and everything that's progressed?
I think it's amazing. I mean, obviously, if you were living in the area back 10 years ago, you kind of understood the landscape and you understood kind of where craft beer was in the Northwest and Oregon, and to see that whole evolution, whether it's the exponential increase in the number of craft breweries, whether it's the number of craft beer bars that have popped up. I think it's interesting to see some of the newer bars that have popped up that actually take a page from the book of Bailey's, and some have admittedly done so. Kind of being able to watch everything get dialed in, get tweaked to the point where now it's a destination spot. It's been a really amazing, fun ride.
Excellent. Well, you guys, thank you much for making the Portland beer community that much better. Geoff, you were one of the pioneers of that, because if there wasn't that many cool craft beer bars, there were some that were around, but not like there is now. And so I think you're one of the entities, one of the people that set that trend. And I'm so glad that you were dissatisfied with the craft beer bars you had in San Diego. That is a wonder. I don't think that happens very much today, that people have the experience, because it's a different place now. But I'm so glad that happened, and I'm so glad that Nick let you have his couch, so you had a place to stay.
All right, thanks for having me.
And you're just getting back at him. All right, I wish you guys all the best. Congratulations on 10 years.
Thank you.
And I look forward to your even bigger 15-year anniversary. And you can just start planning it now, because it'll just be phenomenal.
Probably should, yeah. Thanks, Stephen.
All right, cheers, you guys.